Hi, and welcome back to Are We the Only Ones? I'm Rai, and I'm here with my dear friend Logan.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Logan and I know each other from a few years ago. Oh my gosh, it's like 5, 6 years
Well, I'll go down here to 2020, so that would make sense. Yeah.
5 years ago, we worked at Ulta together in the makeup industry. So I would like you to tell me a little bit about yourself and why you're here.
Yeah.
I know why I invited you here, but I want them to know.
Yeah. Well, I have a very, very interesting story. You know, I'm from Northeast Ohio, rural background. Okay. Graduated with 100 people. I mean, it was like your dad was a farmer, you were going to be a farmer.
Like rinky dink, like tiny.
Exactly. Tiny. Everyone knew everyone, their grandmother and their brother. Like, that's just how it was.
Yeah.
For me, growing up, I was always different. I just was so different. I only had girlfriends. If I didn't have friends with the girls, the guys didn't want to hang out with me because I was so just not enriched in the same activities. Like, they wanted to like tackle people and like punch them. I'm like, no. I want to talk about your hair and what you're wearing. Let's talk about the pertinent matter.
Your hair. Let's talk about your nails.
And that's how I was. So the guys didn't want to hang out with me. It ended up evolving. You know, I got bullied a lot when I was in school. You know, I am a trans woman, and I've had a progression through my life journey. So as a young kid, people used to call me gay, and I would go home to my mom and be like, Mom, they keep calling me this thing, and I don't understand what it is. But they're not like, it's not like a positive tone. Like, they used to make fun of me. So eventually I ended up learning what that was. Fast forward to 14, going into freshman year of high school, I felt like I started to be more open to being risky and doing things I felt like I wanted to do. So I always wanted to wear makeup. I always wanted to wear heels or wear dresses, and I just started to do it. I'm like, I don't know what this means for me, but I know that this is what I want to do and what I feel like will make me confident. So that was a journey of itself because my parents were not supportive of that.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, by the time I got to high school, my peers were very supportive of me. It was like a full 360. I think you kind of get to that age
where people are more understanding.
I think so. And just more, they're kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of experimenting at that age and trying to figure themselves out. You know?
Well, and I feel like I very much owned it. Like, there was like, you couldn't have said anything to me and be like, okay, great. Now what? You know?
Yeah.
So I developed through that. Ended up coming out as gay because I liked men.
Yeah.
Still do.
Still do.
I still like them. Unfortunately, I try not to every day because they're just
they're
a handful. Graduated high school. Long story short, ended up LA, back and forth. 2020 happens, moved down to Columbus. COVID. So I'm now sitting in COVID, living with my aunt and uncle. Just, you know, I was working with Tula Skincare. And I just, from a long time, I always felt like some disconnect. Didn't really know what it meant.
Yeah.
But I had pondered on it growing up. Like, could I be trans? What does this all really mean to me? And honestly, I feel like COVID was such a blessing because it allowed me to sit with myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be 65 years old and go, what if? Like, that's just never how I've lived my life.
Yeah.
And so I started hormone therapy, and I think it was maybe 2 months in, I was like, this is me.
What did you notice when you started the hormone therapy?
Definitely, well, physical changes.
Yeah.
But just, I think with the physical changes, felt reaffirming of how I was supposed to look and present. You know, because I had the makeup down. I had, you know, my attire was very feminine.
Yeah, you were cute.
Yeah.
I remember.
You're right. Thank you. But yes. And then this was kind of like the one aspect. And my whole thought was, you know, do it for 6 months. If I, in my soul, don't feel like this is aligned for me, I just stop. You know, I just stop taking it, and then that's fine. And so that's what I went with. And I felt, I don't know how to describe it. It really was like an internal feeling. I just felt like this is supposed to be me.
Yeah.
You know, like this was supporting what I wanted. And then I ended up getting my top surgery in going into that fall.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Well, it was a drama.
Yeah.
It was a
Because of
drama.
like the famous Instagram plastic surgeon
Yes.
no longer has her license.
She doesn't.
It was insane. I remember that.
And well, at the time too, because of COVID, there's restrictions on surgeries, and I got a lot of heat because people were thinking, "Oh, how selfish of you to take up a surgery room." Well, listen, she had her own. It wasn't at a hospital. I wasn't taking up a hospital bed. It was her own surgical.
She like did boobies and booties.
Boobies and booties in her
in a practice. Yeah. Yeah,
not at her house, but like an office. So I didn't take up. But yeah, that was a big thing
because I remember she was huge.
She was huge.
I don't remember.
Big. And if you wanted to get your anything done, you wanted to go to her because she was so enriched in the social media.
Yep, and she always displayed her work, and it was really well done.
Yeah,
it was really well done.
Well, you didn't really see it then, too. Like people didn't really broadcast that because it is so. Yeah. I would now looking back, I'm like, it's very invasive to have like your tatas out there, like for hundreds of thousands of people to see. But people wanted to see that to be reassured that if I go through this is the potential of what I could have gotten.
Right.
So it's catch-22 with that one.
Yeah, but I remember that. That was wild. So after you got your top surgery, did that kind of just like reaffirm I'm moving in the right direction?
Yeah, you know what? I prayed so much about that.
Yeah.
I did. And not to say that I rushed into it, but it was a big piece to presentation because even then, though things were forming, it just, presentation wise, it wasn't what I felt like I should look like to feel confident. And then, cues to let other people know maybe how to address me. Now that's like controversial because you shouldn't assume people by how they look.
Yeah.
I think there's a way of approaching that with kindness, but I wanted breast because 9 times out of 10, women have breast and that's like a characteristic of whatever. Yeah. So I felt, and I prayed on it and I said, if it's, I hope it's meant to be gone. But if it's not, like, I hope I have a reaffirming as soon as I wake up out of the surgery. And I did. I was very blessed. I went home and I cried.
Because you were just so happy.
I just was overwhelmed. It really was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice. And everyone was very supportive. I will say, I think coming out as trans to my friends and my closest family was harder than when I came out and said that I liked men at 14.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's because there is kind of that stigma around trans people, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know why it is, because hey, if you think about it, you identifying a certain way or changing certain features on your body to make yourself feel good is not going to hurt me in any way. So I just don't get why people feel that way.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, but it is, I feel like it's.
Yeah, I don't know why people, I was very empathetic towards my family and friends.
Yeah.
I'm so understanding, even if someone misgendered me, I think you can read context and tone into everything and have understanding. But random people being completely invested in people they don't even know's lives is beyond my comprehension.
So crazy, right?
I can hardly think about my life. I really don't have the energy to exhaust it about Sally, Jane, and Sue. Somebody else. I just don't. So I'd say that those people should volunteer. I highly encourage it. If you have that much time to be concerned,
be a good citizen and put time and
have that energy somewhere. And you know what? I'll help you devote that energy to a productive way.
Right. So now that you're on your journey with your transition, what does that lend you to? Has that affected you?
Yeah.
Career-wise, has that impacted, like, for example, I do know a trans woman in California where I'm from, and they come from the trucking industry. And she's lost out on work when she started to move forward with her journey. Have you felt like it's impacted you at all?
Yes, absolutely. And I didn't think that it would because we were getting to the point, especially in 2020, where it was kind of like normal, especially in beauty. I was always in beauty industry for men to wear makeup. So when I was presenting as such, it was normal. So I never projected that to be an issue for me. When I ended up branching out of beauty is when I really started to experience that. It would be direct, but also indirect as well too. I would go in multiple interviews with companies, be, top two, and then there's just one person that I interview with that's more mature, very much does not look like me. And then there's just, silence. So not to say that they came out and said, we're not hiring you because you're trans. You gave me 5 interviews. There's one last one. And you just know when someone's not connecting. And I think that comes from trauma. I think that comes from like cue reading. You just know, especially, growing up and being bullied, when someone's for you or not for you.
Yeah.
And so that was upsetting because I'm very competent. And I think to the notion of what other women experience and that they're firm of themselves, they know what they offer. I think that's a lot for people in general, for some reason, to grasp for some reason, if they don't feel good with themselves or whatever it may be. But that goes for women and men. Men and women don't, I wouldn't say all of them, but if a woman is confident in herself and she's very forward about that, it's a thing I think people take a step back. We've seen that in our industry where women are not really supportive of other women.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well, yeah, and then we're all like put up against each other because we all have sales goals to make and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she did this. I mean, luckily when we were working for different makeup lines, we didn't have like commission or anything. Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine?
Did you ever work at a beauty counter where you were yakking commission?
Yeah.
That shit is so
I still on our company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
So
didn't last very long. Because they do play into that, like, oh, you can get that 3%.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no one going there or, and I'm very big, like, if you don't feel confident, comfortable in whatever, like, don't buy it. And I tell them, I say, if you don't feel great in this now, like, I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm not going to force it on your shit. Like,
and then secondly, maybe I'm not good at sales because I was like, I really don't care if you don't want this. Like, I'm not going to sit here and like beg you to buy something,
Please buy this $50 foundation.
Well,
You need it.
I'm like, I know who I am and I know what I can do. And if you feel like that it just doesn't suit you, then it just doesn't suit you.
Right. And then so, what are you doing now? Tell us what's been keeping you busy. What's been filling your days, Logan?
Yes. Well, the list of what I'm not doing might be shorter than what I am doing. So I know it's a lot, but this is good. It's good work. We're in June right now, so everyone's celebrating Pride. Serving. I stepped out of a chief of staff role.
I saw that. Weren't you out
at a financial investment firm? Now serving an executive assistant to a chief operating officer.
Oh, that's cool.
At a nonprofit. They do property management for affordable housing. So we work a lot with HUD, Columbus Metropolitan Housing Association, recovery housing. I also serve Kaleidoscope Youth Center, where we house youth LGBTQ individuals in housing, and then also serving on the Stonewall Democratic Board as well.
Tell us a little bit more about Kaleidoscope, because I'm not sure if everybody is familiar with the youth center.
Well, I wasn't either until unfortunately, I should have been, because everyone knows like the classic Stonewall, and especially in Columbus, they know the Stonewall Columbus.
Yeah.
But Kaleidoscope Youth Center, per its name, really encompasses youth from 8 to about, really we would do all ages if we could. But really, I would say from like the 8 to 25 range.
Okay.
We're never going to turn someone away.
Yeah.
If they need support and you're an LGBTQ, we're going to support you one way or another, whether that be liaisoning to connect you somewhere else. But the primary is youth and young adults.
Okay.
So the drop-in center, we have drop-in centers. We have housing centers as well.
Yeah.
That can stem from community. We host several, and again, I'm not on the day-to-day operations. I serve on the board, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But we have a full-time staff, very talented members, where they orchestrate events where LGBTQ people can come together. And this is all hours of the day, but primarily after school. It's huge.
Yeah.
So we feed young children, housing for young children, help assist with mental health, and direction and support and gender affirming care.
Yeah.
So they do everything. When you think, it's not LGBTQ services, I like to think of it, though it is, because that's
it's a need, that
a reason why they might be there.
Yeah.
But it's youth.
Mm-hmm.
It's young adults and children services.
Now, I do have a question for you. Do you feel like, because you came from a rural area in Northeast Ohio, did you have that kind of same resource growing up?
No, most definitely not. Yeah, most definitely not. And I think when I got asked, would I be interested in joining the board, I thought, this is awesome.
This is the perfect.
This is like full 360, because I wish I had this when I was a kid, because I didn't have that. I was like the first of the kind where it is. No one was.
And that's
Logan was a first for many. Okay, especially there. That school district never experienced a young kid like me wearing heels, clacking through, but they grew and evolved from that. But growing up, I would have loved to have that. And I've been very blessed to be able to, start to be a part of that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dichotomy in that, though, even still as an adult, because I am a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
There's times I think maybe I should need some of these services still. So it's, it's a continuum, but I definitely feel that I'm placed here on earth by God to do hard things for other people, because though I'm strong and have agility, there is a young Logan somewhere that can't do what I can do for whatever reason. And so I have to go through the hard times to be able to support that person. So that's personal for me.
Yeah. Do you feel like with your given experience that you could give direction to Kaleidoscope to reach out to kids in these rural areas? Because I feel Columbus itself is pretty diverse.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, kind of pretty accepting.
Yeah.
But how is Kaleidoscope available for kids in those rural areas, and how do they obtain those services if they're far away?
Great question. I will preface, I'm not a speaking representative for the organization itself. I do sit on it. I do know Kaleidoscope is in partnerships with some of the smaller, more local areas. We do a lot with connecting with schools. So that's another part of the organization is education, information. So they have staff that will go to schools and support teachers, parents in education about LGBTQ and what, being LGBTQ in a young adult or a child looks like. In terms of rural, I think for Ohio specifically, that's always going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Because anything that is deemed partially progressive in idea or thought, it's slow moving.
It is.
So
have your parents come around, and are they more accepting now that you're further along in your
beautiful question. My mom and I, we've had a journey, and I'm very blessed. Her and I, we speak every day. We're very close.
That's wonderful.
Her parents, my grandparents, extremely close. So my mom's side, yes. My dad's side has been a different experience. My father is estranged from me.
Okay.
The last time I saw him was in December, and that wasn't the most pleasant experience. And here I am 5 years into my transition, and he still refers he this, he that. So
yeah.
I give it to God, and I have to move forward with myself. I can't force people to show up and be how I would like them to be.
Yeah.
But I have to come to a point where I got to say, if it's not supporting me as a human, then can't
Right.
be around it. And that's just kind of where I've been.
Well, I mean, we've got to set those boundaries. You have to protect your peace.
Protect the peace.
Your peace specific.
My
Right.
peace.
Right?
No, I agree. I think that's so important. And it's something that I feel like everyone continually evolves.
Yeah.
And it's different for everyone. Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah. So how did you, you said that Kaleidoscope reached out to you to be on the.
It was a very interesting because I had communications with Kaleidoscope and then they reached back out to me. It was a very kind of like the timing is right.
Yeah.
The Kaleidoscope Youth Center, again, I'm not representative to speak on what's going on with the organization, but I can say is they're forever transforming and evolving with the times. So I think the timing was right for new board members to come on and the positions were open and they decided to, screen me, elect me to be elected on. It's a very thorough process. You do an application, you have an interview. They then take that to like an executive committee they vote on whether you can be voted on by the general board.
Okay.
So you got to get that vote first, and then they go back to the general board, and then the general board votes on new board members. And so,
Well,
I won. I did. I freaking won.
There wasn't a.
They were smart. They did something really good. And you know why? We've had many board meetings since I started in April, and I love my board members. I definitely do feel as though I have an interesting perspective compared to a lot of them.
Yeah.
Though it is diverse in thought, background, education, and the way they just live their life. I am from rural Northeast America, where most of my girlfriends are 40s to 50, executives, PhDs. Most of my friends are very conservative and very Republican, I will say. So
How do you bridge that gap, though, Logan?
I don't know if it's such a bridging of the gap.
Or
I think it's more so just we have a commonality of values.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay.
I think it's higher level than maybe what most people are able to think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am gonna ask. I do want to ask that question of like, do you feel like a level of tokenism? Like when they're voting and they're pushing that button, do you feel like they're like, well, I want this for everyone except for Logan. I like Logan.
Yeah. I felt that very firmly in 2020 when we had the really big election.
Yeah.
Trump was going for a second term.
Yeah.
Biden was running, and there were people that voted for Trump.
Yeah.
That I knew. And that was something I had to grapple with. These are very educated people. And it's wild to me that they chose that, but I am such a patriot. Like, we live in a country where we have that freedom, and such a rarity in the world to be able to have that.
Yeah.
I think as I've evolved and grown, I can't fix everyone. I can't fix anything, and I can't control everything. So I try to find the good in everything that I can.
Yeah.
And I have really beautiful relationships, and I try to look at what the positives come out of that. I think people are on their own journey through life.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can't reprimand just to reprimand.
Yeah.
There might be a timeline that's just not
Do you feel
my
like
preference.
over time that they could change, or
They've evolved. I will say my friends have evolved.
like they're more
Been more open.
Good.
Some more than others. But they have evolved. And you know what, though? I wouldn't keep them around as friends if they weren't open to conversation.
Yeah.
If they weren't able to sit down. And I think we see a lot of understandings. I really try to see where they're coming from. And I do believe that they hear me when I say where I'm coming from. But I will give this too, not to interrupt you.
No, you're okay.
For a lot of my friends, I am the first trans woman in their life.
Yeah.
Not to say that they don't have diverse groups, but their diverse groups consist of gay men,
People of color,
Black women. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's just a different time now. Whereas maybe 20 years ago, to have like a gay friend, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
But we're going through this thing where now it's a huge conversation, the idea of someone being trans,
Right.
I mean, I understand it because it's less than 1% of the total population, but here it's apparently top of mind for
Yeah, so
a
that
lot of people.
yeah, so that's like a huge hot button issue, and I don't know how much you follow like youth sports and all of that controversy that's going on right now.
Well, okay, this is a very controversial topic.
It is. It is. The way that there are places in Cali that are doing it, and I feel like it's a beautiful compromise.
Yeah.
But what's going on in Ohio? Because I haven't been really following it.
So the Republican Party is very firm on that. If you're assigned a male at birth, you have to play, and what you're assigned is what you have to play. And of course, they're pushing through that even harder and harder. And we have these conversations in House, Senate, hearings and everything. They're going to always fight it. I think give them their next election cycle, it might be something different. I don't know. Yeah. I think a lot of times we see their work and what they're talking about come to fruition, but a lot of times it doesn't. It just is like that clickbait to keep them going, moving and grooving, because that's what's going to get them viewed or whatever. Yeah. I have a controversial stance on youth, trans individuals in sports, but then again, we have to take a look at, these are kids.
Yeah, they're kids.
They're kids.
So going to tell you what they're doing in some places in California.
I'd love to know.
So they're allowing trans youth to participate with their, like, the gender that they identify in. Yeah. And what they're doing is there was this track athlete just recently, she had placed second. So the person that actually placed below her also gets the silver medal, and then the person below her gets the bronze medal.
Fabulous.
And what it does is it doesn't short anybody.
I think that's great.
And so I think that is a really beautiful compromise, right? Because you're not forcing
Is that young? Is that, I think people are very sticklers about the age. Like, is it high school sports or is it?
High school track sports, yeah. So, and I thought that was a really great compromise because the person who have gotten the silver medal, if this athlete didn't participate, is still getting the silver medal, and the person, so everybody is still winning. And it was really nice because the person that also got the second silver medal has come out and said, I think it's a beautiful thing that she gets, I can't remember the young man's name, but it's a beautiful thing that she gets to participate, and I'm honored to
be a part of supporting her
and sharing the podium with her. And I was like, oh, the kids are okay. Like, when I heard her say that, I'm like, the kids are all right.
I love that, though. But that echoes, yes, you're 1,000% right. Because like I said, echoing with my peers, it would be weird if I didn't show up to prom in a dress. My peers would think that's weird. Like, if I didn't. It was the adults that seemed to have the biggest issue with, like, me being myself. And that goes to say, I think the loudest ones, give them 365 days and they're going to move on to something else. Yeah. And that's the thing. They really don't care. They just want to go into that notion of being loud, and they equate loudness with productivity and, like, feeling great. Yeah. So I would urge those individuals who feel so passionate to take some of that passionate energy and maybe turn it inward. Yeah. And say, why do I feel?
Is this upsetting?
Why do I care about what little kids are doing,
Right. So then there's also, too, that this is a conversation that I've had with some of my friends who they are fine with the trans community, but when it comes to trans women participating in physical sports, like boxing or cage fighting. I don't know what that shit's called, or that sport is called. MMA?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And they say that trans women at the end of the day still have a muscular biological build of a man. So they have an advantage in that. How do you feel about that? Like, I know that you are not an all-star athlete who's going to go cage fighting or anything like that. No. So I don't know.
Nor would I want to be. I don't even want to be. Not at this this stage. I don't think in any stage I'd want to.
But yeah, there's that myth that.
Well, you know why? And this is where I said I had a controversial stance. Yeah. I'm just brazen in everything I do. So when I hear that they want trans women to participate in men's sports, there's something inside my soul is like, great, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to beat everyone no matter what. Yeah. So that's, I think, where I come from. Pertaining to the muscle mass, I don't know all the data. What I can tell you is when I see a lot of here's the thing, we have such diversity, women, period.
Yes.
Okay. But I mean, it's challenging because when I do see other cisgender women, and this is something I think people forget, this is a diagnosed gender dysphoria. It's diagnosed.
Yeah.
And so I have a precondition to really be critical of appearance, the way I present and whatever. So I, in my brain, feel like I am very muscular compared to like my cisgender counterparts.
It's like almost like, do you feel like there's like some body dysmorphia there?
1,000%. 1,000%. And so I think that in of itself, I have a bias towards understanding people's.
Did you feel like when you started your hormone therapy and whatnot that it changed?
It did change. It did change. And, I work out.
Okay.
And it is a different experience for me because I don't have that muscle tone and definition like I used to. Yeah. Like I work out my arms and they're like, though I have muscle, it's not the same as if when I was like in high school and I was like lifting weights. It's completely different. I'm not a doctor. I don't fully know. In my mind, I feel like maybe I have an advantage, maybe I don't, but I'm not in that.
Yeah.
And I would pass that off to the people who are the professionals to give their opinion. And they have given their opinion.
They have.
And I feel like we should go with that.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And if I ever go into sports again, I will circle back out with you all and let you know.
Oh, what sports did you play?
I did cross country and track.
Okay.
When I was way younger, I did gymnastics.
Okay.
When I was like in second, third grade, my dad made me do tackle football.
Oh.
That was like terrible.
Was that terrifying?
Yeah, but now I'm like, I kind of want you to tackle football now. I just need to get out with some of this. I just want to tackle everyone.
Maybe you should take up boxing.
Yeah, so we're going to do. We're going to do part 2 to this conversation once I've got my boxing career.
Yes. Yeah. Just don't let J.K. Rowling figure out that you're boxing.
Well, she's a billionaire now, so I don't know. Maybe she's got something else she's got to fixate on. She probably would fixate on what I'm doing in boxing.
Dumbest shit. But I did want to talk to you about some myths.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just like the
muscle.
The muscle mass myth. One of the myths that I wanted to talk to you about, or that people mention, is basically regretting their gender affirming care. And I always hear that. It's so-and-so or this amount of people transition and they regret transitioning. They regret getting the surgery. They regret hormone therapy. They've gone so far and they wish they could go back.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in the trans community that's like a real, do you feel like it's common? Do you feel like that's just, I'm not going to say nobody that transitions.
Right. Well, and I mean, when you have the world telling you that you're a terrible person and that you're a predator, X, Y, and Z by the Republican Party and just ignorant people, I could see why someone may want to really, when you have the world telling you that you should not be that way, I think you and of yourself start to be like, well, maybe I shouldn't because this is really hard.
You feel like you like cave.
I think so. I think if anything, the environments were different where we were very much Christ-like and loving of other people, I don't feel like that would be a thing at all.
Yeah.
And I think the conversation should be different. Mm-hmm. I would look at why is someone wanting to weaponize a statistic or that data to make their case?
Well, also,
is it to be, I love you, Logan, but X, Y, and Z, I heard about this, or is that, well, there's different tones of that. And that's what I would just wonder.
Well, I feel like when people also pull out that statistic, right, I'm looking at like, okay, you're saying gender affirming care, but you're not saying specifically for trans people. Somebody could have got a boob job and regrets it. Mm-hmm. Somebody could have gotten hair.
Gender affirming care.
Because that's gender affirming care.
Cis women get augmentations. That's
Somebody got a Brazilian butt lift and regretted it, or hairline surgery and regret. There's so many things.
The legs wax.
Yeah.
These are all gender affirming. Yes. I mean, it's all a social construct.
Yeah. And I'm like, are you really nitpicking at that statistic and actually diving into it? Or are you just taking a number that you heard or saw on an Instagram post and just
you're running with it.
Running with it.
Yeah. And that's what's upsetting. I do feel like, especially nowadays, and I don't know if this is different because I'm only 25. Okay, so I've been born since 2000.
Yeah.
But I feel people are lazy in the sense of, well, doing their own research.
Yeah.
They see something once and they take it for truth versus really asking critical questions, doing their own research, and getting multiple perspectives. I think there's 5 perspectives to everything, if not more. So I think people who are passionate and really do care and have it in the heart of just wanting to know would do that.
Yeah.
But I think most people just they don't care. So they don't do that.
Yeah.
They
don't. And then you kind of mentioned this previously, but the other myth was the trans community is full of pedophiles, which I don't know where the heck that comes from. But you actually have your toe dipped in religion and being trans, which one of them is more, no offense, but one of them is linked more so to pedophilia than the other statistically.
Did they just elect a new leader?
That's the church.
Are you saying a denomination in of itself? You're saying a church in of itself?
Religious figures.
Well, you know what? We live in a fallen world.
Yeah.
I feel, I'm not I don't like to weaponize anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you want to weaponize something to make a case, then you don't have enough data to have a clear argument. I should have been a darn attorney.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you got to weaponize something
it's not
in a way and distort it into a way to fit you don't have a really good case. I would say pertaining to religion and faith, we all sin. I do feel like though you're in, let's say, clergy of a church, you are held to a higher standard than, say, an attendee of the church.
Yeah.
But that's anywhere you go. The CEO is going to be held differently than... So it is what it is. But that doesn't take away that we do live in a fallen world and that people do sin. People make mistakes. I would look more into the history and the timeline of what's going on.
Yeah. I just don't know where this whole trans pedophilia argument came from, where that whole scare tactic came from.
Well, I think that came also, this happened with gay men in the AIDS.
Yeah.
And they still want to weaponize all, all gay men have AIDS or like they're the largest one. Really, it's not. It's cisgender heterosexual couples are the highest transmitters of STIs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the data behind it. But anything they can just cling to that sounds like a good little clip.
Right.
They run with that. I don't know where it came from. It's bothersome. Scary, actually.
It is scary. I think it's
scary because there's weight with words. And, there's things about experiences in bathrooms and people taking advantage of the bathroom thing. I mean, that's just a person that is very distorted. And I think another thing, I hold my community to very, I don't know, high standard, because I hold people to a high standard of decorum, class, and sophistication. I don't always fall in line with that myself, but when I see other trans people, I think show up and, put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
Dress to represent and present your way that way.
Yeah.
That's how
I feel like marginalized communities, you always have to be on your best behavior. You have to be 1,000 times better. Yeah, you have.
That's not fair. But and this is another controversial thing.
It's a heavy weight to carry.
It's a heavy weight to carry. It's very exhausting. Not to say that that's how it should be. Mm-hmm. That's just how it kind of is.
Yeah.
And it's not fair. But then you have the other side of life isn't fair.
Yeah.
And so though that you experience that unfairness, there's no one in this world that doesn't have experience an unfairness that feels unfair to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So play ball.
Right. And like you said, you're paving the way for the little Logans out there.
The little Logans.
That didn't have some way.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I even still really feel there's not true leader Logans. Like I'm cultivating what a leader looks like in this space because there's not trans women in business.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of trans influential women that represent what I feel like I'm, that encapsulate.
It still feels like the good old boys club when you go into like the business industry. You know what
I hear. Especially when I was in finance, it very much was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was exhausting calling up men at these brokerages, asking for support. They're telling me that I'm wrong and it's something else. And then I call the one woman and she's like, oh my gosh, they were wrong this whole time. I go, hello. I just told 5 other guys this, and they interrupted me, spoke over me, all these things.
All the things. But yeah, it does feel like a good old boys club.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
I'm glad you're carrying out those
paths. But I think this comes when I talk about showing up and represent, you, unfortunately, again, unfair, you're going to anyone has to play that game to get ahead. Especially within this stage. Will that be in 40 more years? Do you have to be a part of that? I would hope not.
I hope not.
But I don't know exactly. So no one has an easy life. It's very painful. Mm-hmm. I think people think I don't experience pain. But even at this age, and though I do all this great work, I feel a lot.
Yeah.
So...
We haven't touched base on the Stonewall.
Mm-hmm. Democrats.
Yeah, Democrats that you're a part of. How did you get looped into that?
This is a really good question. So I was a part of it. I'm from Stark County, Ohio, and I was a part of their version of this when I was younger. And then I came to Columbus and joined the Central Ohio, the very established, was the one that I sit on the board now for. Mm-hmm. And the 1 year I was on as communications director, it was, COVID did a big number for any organization, or group or whatever. And the vision just wasn't there. Yeah. So I took a step aside, and then I was asked by my now board president, for this year, 2025, if I'd be interested in revisiting the idea of joining the board. So now I'm vice president of memberships, and we've been really, I think, just reconnecting with the people around here, because this is a group that has, 40 plus years of electing local and federal people who are LGBTQ inclusive and have that same value system go into office.
And I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but wasn't it the Human Rights Campaign voted Columbus as one of the best cities?
I'm sure they did.
For the LGBTQ community.
I feel like we're definitely on that track.
Yeah.
And
which
I say that because when I go back home, which is 2 hours away, you see the difference. It's like East Coast to West Coast. You see it, you feel it, you just know.
Yeah.
Driving 2 hours, you would be astonished how night and day it is. I'm like, I need to go back to Columbus.
Yeah, I need to go back.
Even when I go to Cleveland or Akron, where they're larger cities, and people are like, it's blue. But the people, it's not the same blue.
Yeah, the representation is not the same.
It's different.
Yeah.
And I think you can be very diverse, yet not cultured. For instance, Cleveland, I feel like, is very diverse. Lots of diversity, but their tolerance and openness to different cultures or ideas of thought, I don't feel like is very welcomed. It's just, it still has that not old, but like small town kind of feel to it.
Kind of feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh, yeah. I know. When I saw that, I was like so prideful of Columbus. I was like, yes, I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Because being out on the West Coast, every time I say like, I'm from Ohio, everyone's like,
I know. Yeah.
I'm like, don't feel too bad for me. I'm from Columbus. Like,
that's a good, no, I agree. And every suburb in Columbus has its opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
There's places in Columbus that I don't necessarily feel like I want to go to every day because of that. You know where's safer and where's not so safe.
Yeah.
So
How do you feel like the dating pool is in Columbus as a trans woman?
yeah.
Since you felt
I
a little bit more
acknowledging.
accepted.
I think the experience in itself is it's not to say that it's new because trans people have been around for forever.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like now we're moving in a direction where maybe people are more accepting. We're just talking about it more. And I think with familiarities, anxiety suppress. But then we have this other coin of a generation of young men that feel the need to lean into like this hyper masculinity thing. And they feel like this is what makes my identity, which is not true. I think you can have vulnerability and yet be very masculine. But
there is strength in being vulnerable. That takes courage.
It does. Yeah, it does. So dating here.
How do you get around that? Like, I've never asked you that question before.
I'm very forward with people that I communicate with. You know, I've done the dating apps.
Yeah.
It's like the first thing I say because I went through experiences where you're talking to someone for like a couple of days. They want to schedule like a dinner, you know, and then we schedule it. And I'm like, hey, by the way, just so you don't chop me up into a million pieces. We laugh about it, but it's you know, people get hurt. It's true. I don't want to be chopped.
Yeah, trans women are especially vulnerable.
Yes. So I say it, and then they're like, it's blocked. So then there's like a whole week of community. So now it's like right away.
You're not wasting your time.
I'm not wasting my time. So I say it right away, but then it came to like, oh, I know. It's like people are shopping for trans people. So then it's not like I want to.
Great.
Well, but it's not like I want to know Logan for Logan. It's like,
no.
What can I experience from Logan?
It's more of like, a fetish.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So they're like, yeah, I know. And this is what I've been looking for.
And then you're like, okay, but what
This
about
is
like
like
human? Like, I mean, my soul,
they don't.
My person.
You know, I think they like, I'm looking most, they just don't. It's hard. It's hard. And I think we just live in a stage, not a stage, but an age where people have a hard time just being authentic and knowing how to connect. Yeah. You know, especially men. And this is all ages. You know, I started, when I was young, I dated 50 up to 60. I told it to come down.
Sugar daddy. That's what you had. That's just
like having fun and champagne. So, you know.
There's no shame in that.
So I started coming down the ladder of age.
Yeah. Okay.
To the 20s.
Okay. That's like way down. I thought you were going to say like 90s, 40s. Okay.
Well, I did that too.
Okay. So you've been climbing down the ladder.
Right. So, you know, so, well, because I want like that family, like I want to build something with someone, but then it's going to take someone who really knows who they are. And just people really, I'm way ahead of in terms of thought and just how I approach life. Like I'm like a 35-year-old woman. I feel that way. So the opportunity to find a young man who's 25 that also feels mentally like 35 and like thinks that way is so rare.
Yeah.
So it's just hard. It's just hard. Then I'm like, maybe I go back up into the late 30s, but then you get late 30s, like going into 40s. Why haven't you been married? Like, is there a reason why you're still single?
What are your red flags?
But then I'm being analytical. Here I am.
But you want somebody to grow old with.
I would like to. I've given it to God. I don't. It's something I'm not pursuing right now.
Yeah.
And there's something in my soul that just feels like I don't know if I'm for marriage. I'm so for marriage. I'm all about traditional marriage. And so I don't know if it's for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I do feel like I'm here on a special mission.
Yeah. And you know, that could change.
I'm Kim Impossible or something. Yeah. I don't know. I do feel, it could change. And I hope it does change because I would love to feel like I have a confidant and like someone, because I feel like I've been in a war for 25 years. I know it sounds crazy, but just starting from a young kid, being in like kindergarten and people bullying you all the way through, and then still now as an adult, how weird that adults bully other adults.
Right. When you're supposed to have learned that.
Hello.
in school.
But they love to bully. People love to bully. I don't understand it.
They do. It's
But, and I think it makes it harder knowing they don't feel good about themselves.
yeah.
And I never understood the term ignorance is bliss. I'm like, who would not want to know something?
Right.
Like, know something.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you actually later on, but since you had a beautiful segue to it, I'm just gonna ask you about the lived experience as being a trans woman and the bullying that you've faced.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Would I say is it a daily? I feel like now I've gotten to a point where I'm trying to, I think that comes from knowing who you are.
Yeah.
And God tells me who I am. And I feel like that's something I latch on to.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you really experience how much God loves you, I feel like I don't care what you say about me because God loves me. But that's been a journey. And it's going to continually go because there's days when people are not nice to me and laugh at me like in my face or like point at me or say not nice things.
Yeah.
And my mind goes towards like, I get defensive because you don't even know me and you're attacking me.
Yeah.
But then I had to stop and say, no, I'm supposed to pray for this person because I know they're not okay. Because healthy, happy people don't behave that way.
No.
And that's where I go to like, I wish I wasn't thinking on such a high level, but I do about every situation. And I know that they're not healthy. But again, pearls before swine. I'm not going to sit down and like have a conversation with someone who doesn't even want to have a conversation and being open. So
I love that you lean into your faith so much. I'm so glad that's a pillar for you because
I have to.
Yeah, because it's tough out here in these streets. Do you feel like that you have like a church that you go to? Or,
Yes.
Yeah, you do?
Good question.
Yeah?
Yes.
I'm assuming it's in Columbus.
It's in Columbus, Worthington United Methodist Church. Really crazy. I'll tell you about the story of how I came to this. So, quick summary. When I was a child, I always said I wanted to be a preacher, a teacher, and a school bus driver.
A preacher, teacher, and a school bus driver. You're doing all the things.
Driving the kids. Kind of like what I'm doing now. Take them to school, teach them there, bring them back home, and on the weekends, I wanted to. It's like I wanted to be like Miss Frizzle, but like teach them and then also preach the gospel on the weekend. Like the only day I didn't want to see them was Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do a field trip. But that's what I wanted. So long story short, I was 10 years old, and I would go down the street to the Methodist church by myself. Go and blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to now an adult, trying to find a church that's affirming. I went to non-denomination because you think like, oh, non-denomination, it's, contemporary. And I would go to like a church in Short North. I'm like, oh, it's art district.
Has to be progressive.
And they weren't. And they weren't loving. And it was really hard because I'm like, this isn't Christ-like. The Bible's very clear, fruits of the Spirit. Those who embody Christ exhibit gentleness, kindness, loving, all these things. And they didn't embody those. So that was very disheartening. You understand. So I searched affirming, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, there is a nonprofit called the Snappy. I can't even remember now what it's called. Reconciling Ministries Network. This is United Methodist Church, nonprofit focused, and it's for LGBTQ. So think of Stonewall Columbus. This is the United Methodist version of that.
Okay.
So there's a process for a church to elect to become a reconciling ministry network, to be a part of the network that is LGBTQ affirming. And the congregation has to vote on it. So there's a whole directory of churches that voted to be welcoming and loving of all because Jesus welcomed all. Yeah. And everyone is still welcome. And this Worthington, I live in Worthington, it was there. And I said, let's go. And I felt like I had been there since I was a kid.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So then I became a confirmed member and very involved now.
Do you ever have people that try to weaponize religion against you and you just want to bring them to this church? Be like, here, no, please, let's go.
Yes. Well, and then this is why I'm such, I know evangelical, what is the term?
Evangelical?
Jealous?
Evangelical?
That. I know that's not a term that we use anymore, but that's why I'm such a passionate one, because I'm like, you have not been to my church.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, though, if you go to my church, you're not going to be saying those things anymore.
Yeah.
You're not going to be trying to weaponize, because God is for all.
Yeah.
God is for all. And I did a study, because I read my Bible every day. And I was reading a passage, and I couldn't tell you what the darn passage was. I believe it's within John. But long story short, it got on the train of thought that we live in a fallen world. And it was like parallel to, say, children who are autistic, because people coin the thing, God made you perfect the way you are.
Yeah.
God made you how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we have children who are born with, that are autistic or that have deformities and et cetera. And then that's acceptable difference. Mm-hmm. But for someone to be born gay or whatever, people don't grasp onto that. But long story short is that God uses all things that people may seem as inferiorities for his purpose.
Yeah.
And that's, that's biblical.
Right.
And if you don't want to believe that, then read your Bible. I don't know this time.
You're like, I don't know.
We're all made in the image. I just don't know how someone could not want, how could someone not want someone to experience Jesus?
I don't know.
I'm telling you though, I don't understand, because
this is beautiful. I think it is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Spirituality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether you encompass it, whatever it is, but
yeah.
If you know Jesus, I want everyone to know.
Yeah.
Because he's done so much for me in my life.
Yeah. How do you feel when people say like your existence is a sin and try to use that religion against you and use the Bible against you? They do the same thing with the gay community.
They do.
And I disagree with it.
They do. Well, all sin is equal.
And
they don't want to look into, looking with lustful eyes. That's a sin. Okay, though it's not. They can only go after the ones that are visible. Anything that's your sin that's visible or whatever. So that's an easy thing, and that's something I would, why don't you look at sin that's challenging that you can't see, and that would come from a loving conversation. You're not going to see everyone's hidden sins by screaming through a microphone and yelling at people, telling them they're going to hell. Sorry if you tell me I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to talk to you and sing Kumbaya.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've not completely read the Bible. I went to private school. I went to church camp. So I've, know popular verses, but I've not done a deep dive into the Bible.
Well, the Bible's clear about how we approach people who are, again, not possessing fruits of the Spirit. These are qualities that you possess when you accept Jesus. You're filled with the Holy Spirit, and this is how the Holy Spirit shows up. So the proverb goes, you don't throw your pearls before swine, meaning you're not going to exhaust all this energy on someone who is fixed and not even open to a conversation. And I think that's how I approach everything, honestly. I'm not throwing my pearls at it. It's different if the person is open. And that's something that I feel like God guides you through. Like, is this a person who might be open to a conversation and be able to connect if you can get them to a stage where they want to converse in a
that tracks with how you handle your relationships with your friends that are more conservative.
I agree. I have to pick and choose. I have to say, is this a place and a time, God, where you want me to have this conversation with that person? If it's not, then have a great day.
Right.
I love you, but have a great day. I don't think you can. I think you love people without liking people.
Yeah.
When these people do what they do, I have great love for them, and I hope. Who the heck wants to go to hell?
Yeah. No.
Okay. And then what human would want another human to go to hell? That doesn't sound fun.
No, it doesn't sound like a good place. It doesn't sound like a good place.
So if I can get you out of there, find me out.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. Yeah, I wouldn't want to send anybody there.
Well, you know what? I wake up every day, and here's the thing. I don't want to get to the gates and be like, sorry, God, I didn't do hard enough.
Right.
And that's what I try. I fail every day. I sin every day.
We all do.
We all do.
That's why I'm like, none of us are perfect. Where do you get off?
But our salvation is a gift. It's not based off works. It's a gift.
Yeah.
But I would say possessing the Holy Spirit and living a life for God the way you approach life, it transforms you.
Yeah. You have so much self-control. Do you realize that?
Not in all areas.
Not
Not in all
areas. Because
I like a champagne. Give me two.
Well, because I think I'm like shitting on people for their views, and I'm like, I'm judging them just as harsh back, and it's a vicious cycle.
Well, I stop myself. I have to, and
Give into it.
if I was in a car, for instance, someone cut me off, I have been trying to not go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I just say, you know what, Lord, I don't know what they're going through, but I hope you're with them.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes for anything.
And they get to their destination safely.
They do. Well, you know what's interesting is I pray about every little thing. I say, God, please get me to my destination safely. Thank you for my bed. Thank you for my shower. I'll take a shower in the morning. I'll be like, God, I get to take a shower today. Like, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I have food because I've experienced not having these things.
You know what I am sitting here realizing this, like as I'm talking to you, is that I have trans friends that are so put off by religion.
Mm-hmm.
So put off by religion because it's been weaponized against them.
Yeah.
And I just find it so incredible that you lean into it.
I love it.
And it's like, it's in you.
You know what's interesting is when I sin,
Mm-hmm.
I feel, and they say sin is separation from God. Mm-hmm. And that's the closest thing to truth.
Yeah.
Because we don't live our life off of feelings because feelings aren't always fact.
Yeah.
But you feel disconnected when you do sin. So I just try to do what God wills me and wants me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I show up.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're got to wrap up here, but I do have some questions for you. So these are the questions that I was kind of talking to you about before, about when I'm talking to people, and I'm very much an ally myself.
Yeah, ally.
Yeah, and they come at me with these questions. They're not questions I can answer because I'm not a trans individual. So I'm just like, you know what? That's not for me. But all I know is like,
yeah,
they're good people. So
I hear you.
Why do you care?
Right. But they want to know. They want to know. Okay. And you know what? I think that in itself maybe is a starting point.
Yeah.
Because it's...
So let's build this bridge.
Let's build it.
Let's build this bridge. So one of the first things... Well, also, let me preface this by saying, I do have a biological and scientific response, but it does not satisfy them. So I'm going to say what you say. Okay? So a lot of people say that trans women will never be real women because they don't experience period and menstruation.
Well, that is a really unique point of view. Mm-hmm. One that I'm not concerned of.
Yeah.
On the opposite end.
Yeah.
Because we have cisgender women who don't experience this.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm
saying. Okay, so you're saying that argument?
I'm like, you know what?
I also think, though, your identity is not off whether you have a period or not have a period.
But there are women out there that say...
Or holding it as like they're...
As their flag, like, I'm a real woman because I bleed. But I always counter with, there are women with vaginas and uteruses that don't menstruate.
Right.
Biologically. Mm-hmm. And it's actually probably, I'm just going to assume, probably just as common, if not more common, than trans women.
I feel like if anyone's hypothesis or assumptions not testable or applicable under different agents, I would say it's a detested hypothesis. For instance, to your point, women who can't. If you can't apply that or test it, run against it, or if they're just like, well, that's different. Well, that's not good enough. Sorry, your argument's invalid now.
Yeah.
Null and void.
No, I know. That's my always.
Null and void. What? Right.
And it frustrates me. It drives me absolutely insane.
I don't really know what I would say if someone said that to me. I would say, okay.
Yeah.
Again, but we want to know what the answer is.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, though, if they're fronting that, do they sound like an individual who really wants to understand? And if that's the one thing they're leaning into, there's more to a human than that.
Yeah, and it's always there's also the childbirth, that trans women will never experience childbirth and motherhood like a quote unquote real woman.
Right. Okay, so what's the response to that?
Yeah.
I would say,
That's a tough one, right?
I think though,
We have cisgender moms out here
yeah,
who don't do shit.
yeah. So this is what I'm saying though. I feel like motherhood is something that's one can be not biological. Okay. Because you have people who adopt children and feel a chemical or not a you know what I'm saying? Some feel a chemical automatically as if they gave birth because that's a chemical release and that's the oxytocin. Well, when you first meet someone,
Yeah.
you know, okay, that's not a good point. What I'm saying is teachers, they have, I think, a motherly instinct over students, but they didn't give birth to these kids.
Yeah.
Is that a fair point?
Yeah.
I think it's something that develops through experience. It can be biological, but it's not particularly biological. Your hormones aren't telling you how to address your child when they're screaming at you.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's when
But that's true motherhood right there.
to kick in and
Hello. Through experience.
not freak out on it. I know. That's always a one where like people are like, oh, they'll never be a real mom because they don't experience childbirth. But there are women out there who can't have again.
And we adopt. Are you going to tell two parents who adopt, whether it be a cis heterosexual couple that adopts, are you going to tell them that they're not real parents? If you're going to apply it to that, you're going to apply it to all, and that doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't.
Asinine.
It doesn't. I know. It's
So,
girl, I'm asking these questions and I'm like,
is it math?
I'm so, I get it. Yeah. And then there are women who get frustrated that trans women hold this women card, like, I'm a real woman. And they feel like because the trans women may or may not have bottom surgery, we don't know where anybody is journey.
Yeah.
But because they weren't born with a vagina,
They're not a real woman.
they're not a real woman.
I feel like I've never been one to say like I'm the same as a biological woman.
Yeah.
What I say is all humans should be treated as human beings with dignity, respect, and love. If you say I'm not a woman, okay, but again, you find identity in what you choose to find identity in. So that's why I would urge any human being.
Yeah.
Understand what calls you to who you are. I'm defined by God. So you want to tell me I'm not a woman?
You are so polite and put together because whenever I talk to people about this,
Yeah.
I try to build that bridge, but I get emotionally upset.
Yeah.
And
well, because you love people. You just love people.
well, yeah, I do. And
you're seeing someone want to like bully and put down another human being.
Yeah, and I get frustrated because in my brain, I literally do not comprehend why somebody's existence to feel good about themselves would ever be somebody else's problem.
It's not. And so that's where you kick in that critical thinking and you go, how do people don't behave this way?
Yeah.
So how can I show them this love that they're to show to other people? It's hard. It's not easy. Yeah. I fail at it. We all fail at it. It is very hard, but that's something we should all aspire towards doing.
How do you, and then one of the things too, especially in Ohio, I don't know where Ohio stands, but I did read an article like, oh boy, it was years ago. So probably 2 or 3 years ago, about a trans man going to the women's restroom because they didn't have bottom surgery, so they still had a vagina. And people attacked him, even though he was going to his assigned birth gender bathroom.
Well, yeah.
Like, how do you
this is what's a little frustrating too. We have federal executive orders or laws go into place, and there's not like how-tos on enforcing it. What are we going to do? Drop your pants. Let me see what you got going on there. Yeah. No. But to your point of people saw someone that was masculine presenting going into the women's lavatory.
Yes, because this person also had facial hair because they've gone through their hormone therapy and they've done their hair.
They're a dude.
Yeah.
They're a dude.
Yes.
And you're making them go into the women's lavatory. And then they're setting up for failure because, hello, that's a dude. What do we say to that? This I can empathize with because there are certain places that I won't go to because if I can't go to a restaurant and feel comfortable using the lavatory, I'm not going to go. Yeah. So though people think I'm snobbish and be like, I'm only going to go to Hyde Park or this restaurant because I know management. Yeah. I know the whole staff. And I know someone who's a snobbish whatever isn't going to come storming in there to scream at me.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of, unfortunately, what we live in.
Yeah.
So the response to that is, I don't know. It's exhausting.
Own fucking stall.
But who cares?
You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
I feel like if you're using the lavatory for the facilities that, you know, they're outlined to be used for, then...
I mean, my biggest pet peeve is when I take my kids to Disneyland and a grown-ass man is using the family bathroom to take a shit. That's what pisses me off.
We need to start a campaign on this.
It makes me so mad.
We'll start our own. We'll do what the Republicans do and put all these weird things together. We'll do one about that.
Yeah.
That'll be a partial productive.
Yeah, if you go into the family bathroom to take a shit for 45 minutes, and
I'm going to scream at you.
Yes. I'm going to sue you.
We'll get some data and weaponize it to your point to make it valid. Because you have the, you got a number here.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off about bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know 100% of me actually is pissed off right now? And I'm using that data right there to tell you why. I mean, that's like what they do.
That's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like the locker room situation? Because...
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well,
someone that I am close with, they actually stopped going to a gym because there was a trans woman who did not have bottom surgery. And I said, it's not that I have an issue. It's just that I don't want to see it daily.
Well, I concur. I don't feel like any woman should be subjected to seeing that.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like women should be really even seeing other women.
Yeah.
I think we take away the human aspect of it, and I would approach it with, this is another human being. It's complex. But what I would say is we should have closed areas.
Yeah.
I don't know what for me, I would say I would prefer a, one that's like I can change, enclosed, et cetera, et cetera. That would make me comfortable.
Yeah.
As a trans person.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask.
I think any trans person, though, who really is trans, would probably feel that same way. It's a gender, I'm diagnosed, gender dysphoria. Why would you want to go out there flashing something that you're purporting to have issue with? That's where I get confused. Is this person really trans or not trans? Who am I to say? But I would say, I would feel most truly trans people would very much appreciate an enclosed, like kind of like how we have the genderless lavatories, applying that to the locker room situation.
Yeah, just have like a couple of single ones.
Yeah,
because would you feel self-conscious going into a women's locker room and changing in front of a group of women?
I thought it's why I wanted to join Lifetime Fit. So I don't belong to a gym.
Yeah,
and I asked Lifetime Gym, like, what's your, and they couldn't give me a clear policy. Well, why am I going to spend $125 a month?
Yeah,
and not feel like I can use all the
facilities?
1,000%. Yeah. But that's a big thing that needs to be addressed. And here's the thing: people don't want to have hard conversations.
Yeah.
And so they just toss it aside, and no one ends up knowing.
Because I told that person, I was like, you're completely valid in feeling uncomfortable with that. Because like
I would feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, because you're
uncomfortable.
Yeah, you don't want to see a penis.
No,
like that's the reason that you're in there.
Yeah, I'm here for this person. Yeah. I completely concur.
That's what I was telling you.
And I would question the individual who is out there doing that. I think that's very serious. And then again, you have to. This is an unfortunate circumstance, maybe of cancel culture. Because the person feels uncomfortable to even say something.
Yeah.
In a loving manner, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this. Can we address it? Oh no, we can't address it because protected class and like it's a big deal right now. That's not how things are supposed to be.
No.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what's really important too. That's why we have this podcast, is people are so scared to talk about these hard issues. Even though I don't agree with a lot of what the other side says, I'm trying my best to build this bridge, because I feel like cancel culture has gotten out of control. It's gotten out of control even within the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like we're holding ourselves almost too accountable. And I think the only way to build that bridge and lessen the divide, I think with the social media, the divide is just like, it's getting worse.
Well, it's more present.
Yeah.
And, you're seeing
and you're
live.
And you're fed an echo chamber in your algorithm, right? If you don't like something, you're not going to see it again. But when you're liking stuff that you agree with and that you're not exposing yourself to the other stuff.
1,000%.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I feel like there's a lot of people who
Well, I'm unique in the sense that people are going to get upset about this. I feel like the world is, you can have two dichotomies that exist at the same time. And I think, though, we live in a very binary world. I think when you analyze it down, it could be a yes or it could be a no. It could be a good or it could be a bad.
Yeah.
But that's my reality. Who am I to tell what someone else's reality is to themselves? But I think everything does have maybe a definitive answer. But again, that's subjective to the person.
Yeah.
I don't know. So my reality is different than yours, but that's just how I feel. And you know what? We live in America,
where people have the freedom to feel that way.
Unfortunately and fortunately. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I know. I think that was like, it's beautiful that you look at it that way.
I think you then have to think about, what can I control?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, I went around in circles wanting to fix everything and control. And you can't.
Yeah.
I can only focus on myself.
Yeah.
But that takes work. And if it's to focus on yourself is hard in this day and age when everyone's doing everything else but themselves.
Well, yeah, too. And then you have society screaming at you right now, telling you that you're a bad person. And that's not a fair judgment, because they don't know you.
They don't know me.
Right.
And they're going to know me.
Yeah, they're going to know you. I hope this conversation is very eye-opening, because I feel like a lot of people, I honestly are probably one of the first trans people that I've met that's open with religion. Like I said, everybody else I know is trans. They're not atheists.
Yeah.
But they do not follow Christ the way that you do.
Like agnostic.
Yeah.
That's spiritual, or...
That's how I am. So maybe that's why I'm automatically click with them. Because to me, sometimes religion, I think it's a beautiful thing. But sometimes I can find it to be a little off-putting, because it's been I've gone to bad churches.
Yeah,
people
I agree.
say things and I don't agree with. And I'm like, how can you all feel this way?
Yeah.
So I hope that people learn from this conversation that trans people are good people. You're a good person.
Yeah.
And that you also have faith. And
well, you're going to have to challenge your own understandings of what you feel to be fact.
Do you almost identify as a wasp?
What does this mean?
I forget
when I see it. When I think wasp, I think
angelical
supreme princess.
Supreme princess. I forget exactly what it stands for.
Yes,
but it's always those Christian women that are always hey, this isn't right.
No, I've never been one. I've only really...
You're not waspy.
It depends on the relationship. If I know the person, I would say, how do you feel about maybe me sharing a perspective? And who's going to say no to that? Okay, especially if I know the person, they should be open to wanting to hear. I only have good people around me. And so if they're not, then I again, pearls before swine. Read the situation. Can you make impact here? Be led by God. And if not, it's not your place even. It's not even your job.
Yeah.
Move it on. God's going to find someone else to handle that.
What do you feel like is something that we can do as the everyday person that could pivot this fear-mongering around the transgender community into acceptance? And
here's the thing. I don't think we have to have acceptance. I think it comes down to just being loving human beings and want to support other human beings. You don't have to accept something to care for another human.
Yeah.
And what I would urge people is, one, know who you are and what your values are.
Yeah.
And this is who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Two, find people who don't look like you, don't behave like you, or whatever.
Get out of that bubble.
Get to know them. And just be open to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like even then at that stage, if you feel like it's not for you, well, life's not easy. So find someone else that is different. It's a continual thing. I would say just because you fail once, that doesn't mean to not go out there and want to get to know other different people. That's stupid. This is like saying, out of one bad experience with a Black person, what am I going to do? Not talk to any more Black people?
Yeah.
Or more Asian people? No.
Yeah.
But that's been the trend of, I've seen a video of a trans woman X, Y, and Z I'm not going near that. And I think that's a natural, you got this unconscious, conscious bias because you've seen something maybe perceived negative about it.
Yeah.
But I would say challenge it. Do the hard work and do it within safe parameters.
Yeah.
I would say.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think we all need to put in the time and do the hard work.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
Everything's hard work.
I am like even re-educating myself about lots of like misogyny, and there are things that even as
well, choose the hard work. I mean, do it now or do it later when your children are going to be engulfed in, a society that's very intolerant or not kind and loving. So then you're going to have to visit it then anyway. So I say sooner is better.
Yeah, sooner is better than later.
Do it yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, we're going to wrap up. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
And then usually we do sign off about asking, like, are we the only ones that feel a certain way? So are you feeling a little lonely or feeling like you're the only one feeling a certain way that you want to kind of ask everybody, like, hey, are we the only ones that feel blah, blah, blah? Or
I would say, are we the only ones that feel we can have differences but still be connected? I think the answer is yes. I think I'm very different than most of the people I'm around.
Yeah.
And the way I think, the way I act, the way I talk, because they let me know. But I feel very deeply connected to these people, and I love these people. And I think you can have that with anyone you experience. I think we're all intertwined and connected. Humans are made to be connected in a society. So we have a longing to want to be connected. But I think connection can look different. I think people think of it as this one thing that's like unbreakable or the strongest thing ever. I think we make micro connections anywhere we go. Go to the gas station, say hi to someone. That's a connection.
right.
There's little ways you can connect. So I would say, are we the only ones that feel that you can have differences and be connected? Because sometimes I do feel that way.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, that's true because my other trans friends, they don't associate with Republicans on the same level as you.
But I would challenge them. I think they could find some way to connect.
Yeah.
On something.
Yeah. I feel like, it's more of a defense mechanism than anything.
Right.
And you're showing strength with vulnerability, which I applaud you for that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we go, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and please feel free to comment. Okay, until next time.